Good morning, investors. You are now on KleverStock with me, Ainu Jaria, serving you the latest morning bill updates. Kicking it off with the opening bill updates on our local market. The LPM KLCI slipped below the key 1,600 psychological support this morning as profit-taking gathered pace, tracking an overnight pullback on Wall Street. Investors turned cautious after U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell warned that stocks were overvalued, while attention is now fixed on a highly anticipated U.S. inflation report that could derail hopes for deeper rate cuts. On Bursa Malaysia, the benchmark index dropped 4.21 points or 0.26% to 1,595.45 within the first 10 minutes of trade, marking a consolidation phase. Now, despite the sell-off, Rakuten Trade said it viewed the previous day's healthier trading activity as a sign of investors' willingness to participate, which could provide a foundation for the index to stabilize and potentially recover when fresh catalysts emerge. The research firm expects the index to trend within the 1,595 to 1,610 range today. Among the blue chip counters, Nestle slid 28 cents to 96 ringgit and 32 cents. Petronas Dagangan shed 24 cents to 22 ringgit and 6 cents, and MISC dropped 6 cents to 7 ringgit and 22 cents. Now, other notable decliners included Apollo Food down 8 cents to 6 ringgit and 20 cents after a disappointing quarterly earnings report, while Unisem eats 7 cents to 2 ringgit and 77 cents. On the active list, Nextg Bina, formerly Clasita Holdings, climbed 1 cent to 10 cents with more than 57 million shares traded. TWL gained half a cent to 3 cents with 10.78 million shares crossing hands, while Nextg added half a cent to 52 cents on a volume of 6.98 million shares. And now moving on to local currency update. The ringgit opened steady against the US dollar this morning, holding at 4.2120 or 4.2170 at 8 a.m., even as regional sentiment came under pressure from the People's Bank of China. SBI Asset Management Stephen In said the PBOC caught markets off guard by setting the yuan's daily reference rate weaker than expected, a move to cool the currency's rally. He noted this added downside momentum on the ringgit, warning that while the near-term outlook remains fragile, any sharp moves are likely to be limited over the next 24 hours. Now, investors are now waiting Friday's U.S. personal consumption expenditure inflation print and next week's non-farm payrolls report for cues on whether the Federal Reserve will adjust its policy stance. Bank Muamalat's chief economist, Dr. Muhammad Afzal Nizam Abdul Rashid, highlighted that the US dollar index remains elevated, up 0.43% to 97.687 points, as the Fed is seen to be cautious about cutting rates. He pointed out that the new US home sales surged to 800,000 units in August, beating forecasts of 650,000 and July's 652,000. As such, the ringgit is likely to remain soft in the near term, hovering around 4 ringgit and 21 cents to 4 ringgit and 23 cents. At the same time, the ringgit strengthened against Japanese yen to 2.8310 or 2.8346 and appreciated versus the Thai baht to 13.1109 or 13.1334. It also rose slightly against the Singapore dollar to 3.2687 or 3.2731. However, it eased against the British pound to 5.6647 or 5.6714 and slipped against the euro to 4.9453 or 4.9512. The ringgit was unchanged against the Indonesian rupiah at 252.4 or 252.8 and the Philippine peso at 7.33 and 7.34. Continuing with some local economic updates. Global chip giant Nvidia has picked Johor as the sole Asia-Pacific hub for its DGX Cloud high-performance artificial intelligence platform in a landmark of 10 billion ringgit partnership with YTL Power International Berhad. The move cements Johor's position as Southeast Asia's emerging AI powerhouse, anchoring NVIDIA's most advanced infrastructure in Malaysia. The project, based at YTL Power's 600 megawatt green data center park in Kulai, has already developed thousands of NVIDIA's state-of-the-art GB200 graphic processing units and its enterprise AI software to power Malaysia's first large language model and next-generation digital applications. Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi, who is currently leading a delegation on a working visit to NVIDIA's headquarters in Santa Clara, California, called the development a historic vote of confidence for Johor. First unveiled last December and reaffirmed this week, the NVIDIA YTL Power collaboration is closely aligned with Johor-Singapore Special Economic Zone, which offers tax incentives, streamlined approvals, and cross-border connectivity to Singapore's financial and technology hubs. Economists say the partnership could generate thousands of high-skilled jobs, boost growth in cloud services, semiconductors, and software, and accelerate Johor's rise as a regional AI center of excellence under Malaysia's new Industrial Master Plan 2030. And now moving on to corporate news update. After months of quiet, Malaysia's initial public offering IPO market has snapped back into action. With all 6 of the most recent listings, including yesterday's debutant Express Power Solutions and Berhad, closing at a premium and delivering double-digit first-day gains. TradeView Capital Fund Manager Neo Jiaman said the rebound reflects a shift in sentiment as uncertainties around U.S. trade policy ease. With risk appetite returning, investors are more willing to consider new listings, particularly as expectations for the near-term IPO performance have improved in tandem with stronger trading activity. Still, he cautioned that the window may not remain open indefinitely, warning that IPOs without differentiated growth or fair valuations could struggle if sentiment reverses. Its market list Express Power closed 12.5% higher at 22.5 cents after opening at a 7% premium of 21.5 cents. A day earlier, JS Solar Holdings Berhad has made its debut at 40 cents, up 29% from its IPO price of 31 cents, and held steady through the session. Singapore's UMS Integration Ltd, which staged its secondary listing, started at 3% premium and finished 10% higher. Other newcomers also jumped. Oxford Innotech Berhad leapt 24% to 36 cents, and ProServe Group Berhad rose 8.3% to 26 cents, and iSense Group Holdings Berhad surged 21% to 29 cents. All 3 notched further gains by market close, ranging from 10 to 41% above IPO prices. Malacca Securities Research head Dewey Low noted that earlier IPO disappointments were largely tied to trade policy shocks under Donald Trump's tariffs agenda. He said the environment has since stabilized, with positive momentum expected to carry forward. Bursa Malaysia is targeting 60 IPOs this year with a combined market capitalization of 40.2 billion ringgit. With the 19 listings still on the calendar before year-end, the spotlight is now on MMC Port Holdings Berhad, slated for November in what could be Malaysia's biggest IPO in over a decade. Parent company MMC Corp is expected to sell up to 30% of the port unit, having already filed its draft prospectus with regulators. And finally, wrapping up, we have major corporate developments and deals across Malaysia. Capital A is optimistic of completing its airline disposal to AirAsia by October, enabling a PN17 exit by year-end. NextG unveiled a 250 million ringgit two-phase expansion to double passport output and enhance secure ID capacity. NextG has launched its digital identity platform MyNational, unifying eKYC and AI and data intelligence for government and SMEs. Oxford Innotech poised to begin mass production. Oxford Innotech's expansion plans are on track, The trial runs at its new Penang Science Park PSP facility, showing encouraging progress. And next, LB Aluminium's first quarter of the financial year 2026 net profit posted a 30.9% year-on-year increase to 11.6 million ringgit, lifted by stronger contributions from its property segment on the back of higher sales. Chronology Asia's second quarter financial year 2025 net profit dropped nearly 35% year-on-year to 1.1 million ringgit amid sharp decline in revenue from Singapore and Philippines. Now that's a wrap for Morning Bell updates with me, Anujarya, on KleverStock. Thank you for choosing us, investors. Stay tuned for the next live coming soon.